Hello, dear electrical students. Welcome to Power System Protection lecture series. Today we are learning about directional relay. We have seen overcurrent relays, its construction and principle. Today, why relay are used, what are the need of directional relay, what are the problems associated with overcurrent relays, why they are not sufficient, how directional relays are work. These all aspects will be clear in this lecture. Need of directional relay. So for better understanding, we have take this case study where two generators are connected in line. It is called a double source line where A, B, C and D, these four are bus bars. Generator 1 and generator 2 are connected between them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are circuit breakers. The load is connected with bus bar B and number 9 circuit breaker is connected with load. So let us focus on this image, and where we have used a simple plain overcurrent relays. So if the fault occurs between number 4 and number 5, like we named as a FA, so fault FA will occur between bus bar B and bus bar C. Circuit breaker 4 and 5 will be tripped as a ideal condition. But if we use a simple plain relay, so this fault will be seen by number 3 circuit breaker, 4, 5 and 6. So this fault will be seen at this all four locations, because when fault created, it creates low impedance path, and for that reason the current flows from this generator will goes to this path, and current from this generator will go through this part. So after that, the number 5 will see that the current is both directions and it will not trip, because they seen the current flows as a normal healthy condition, but it is a faulty condition. These desired zones are not generated because the flow of current is produced in both sides and circuit breaker will not trip. It is the case of selectivity. Table, we seen the table where fault FA and fault FB, where number 4, 5, 6, 7 tripped or not, we will see. So where fault FA, the direction of fault power flow at bus C as seen from 5. So fault current will go away from the bus C, and so the desired response of overcurrent relay is trip. So 5 has to trip. The direction of fault current flow from bus C at from number 6, so it is towards C, so it will restrain, it will not trip. But for ideal condition it has to trip for the isolate the faulty part, this part. And in FB, if the fault is nearer to circuit breaker, it sends that the faulty current is from number 5, it is towards at bus C. So it decides that it will not trip as the fault FB in it is nearer to number 6, and from the 6 number circuit breaker the fault current seen by the 6 is away from the bus C, so it will trip. So where the condition is the current chooses the both direction, forward and reverse. So where the condition arrived likewise this nearer to the bus, if the current is away from the bus it will trip, the nearer circuit breaker will trip. If the direction of fault power is towards the bus, the overcurrent relay will restrain. So in both direction, I again repeat the sentence that if the direction of fault power flow is away from the bus, the relay will trip, and if the direction of fault power is towards the bus, the relay will restrain, so it is not trip, it will restrain. Other situations where the directional relay is necessary, we have taken parallel feeders where the both sources where single source are connected and load connected to the other end. So power flows from 1 to 2 and 4 to 3 and to the load. But when fault occurs at second number of line where the desired operation is 4 and 3 have to trip, but where the fault creates, the current chooses the alternative path and it will flow from this side. So current will flow from this side, So again number 2 and number 3 seen the reverse current path. So if we use the plain overcurrent relay, if we choose plain overcurrent relay without directional feature, number 2 and number 3 will not detect the fault. Again it is the case of selectivity. So number 2 and number 3, if we the relay employed with directional feature, it will detect the reverse path of the current, faulty current direction, and it will trip. And location 1 and location 4 we employed a non-directional overcurrent relay or plain overcurrent relay with instantaneous feature, because it is very nearer to the source. So instantaneous feature is necessary for overcurrent relay. This parallel feeder is again a situation where the directional relay have to be employed. In third case, we discussed about ring main feeder, where in ring main, if fault occurs in any of the feeder, the faulty current choose the alternative path. So is seen in figure that F1, where F1 fault occurred between bus A and bus B, then the fault current will flow from bus A to F1 and from this line bus B to F1. So this is a direction of fault current. So number 2 have to be employed directional feature, because if we use a plain overcurrent relay, then it will not sense the direction, where this is an ideal direction of current flow, but the fault occurs here, then the current flows from A to F1 path and the other current from alternating path, the other current will flow from bus B to F1. So number 2 relay has to select the proper faulty current, and it has to sense the updated, or we can say reverse direction of fault current. So in this case, number 1 and number 8 relays are plain, or we can say without directional features overcurrent relay. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 are directional features relay or directional overcurrent relay. Now constructional details. So it is a very simple constructional details like the all other relays, where two metallic disc free rotates with electromagnets. One is a upper electromagnet and second one is a lower electromagnet. Upper electromagnet is E shape connected with CT secondary, and the second connection of CT secondary winding is with lower electromagnet C type. The spindle of the disc carries a moving contact which bridges two fixed contact with the disc rotates through an angle which is adjustable between 0 to 360 degree. By adjusting this angle, the travel of moving contact can be adjusted so that the relay can be given any desired time setting, which is indicated by a pointer. The dial is calibrated from 0 to 1. It is also called as a time setting multiplier, where we adjust the metallic disc speed, rotating speed, so how speedily they react. So we can set the pointer of the dial from 0 to 1. The relay time from the nameplate curve is to be multiplied with that time multiplier setting. This is a plug setting bridge where A and B with the different types of connections where we can set the pickup current of relay, and it is also called as a current setting. So plug setting multiplier which set from this dial. Operation of non-directional overcurrent relay, which is wattmeter type. A directional overcurrent relay operates when the current exceeds a specified value and in a specified direction. It contains two relaying units, overcurrent unit and the other is a directional unit. As you see that the upper part of this relay that we have seen earlier and the second part of the relay is the directional feature. So there are two units, simple overcurrent unit and other is the directional unit. So how they connect with each other, we can see in the figure. The overcurrent unit is connected with CT secondary winding and it is connected with upper electromagnet and lower electromagnet. Then the second tap or second lower winding connection is connected with AB, which is the contact of overcurrent unit, and it is connected with the directional features where the potential transformer or voltage connection is employed with the lower unit where it is connected with upper electromagnet of directional unit, and the overcurrent unit is connected with C type lower magnet. So ultimately we have given the two inputs to this relay, CT and PT, where CT secondary is connected with this primary winding and the potential transformer connection is connected with the directional features. For the directional unit, the secondary winding of the overcurrent relay unit is kept open. AB is open. When the directional unit operates, it closes the open contact of the secondary winding of relay, may be either wattmeter or shaded pole type. So you can see here AB is closed when the necessary condition is happened. If the overcurrent unit part, this part is rotate reversely, followed by this AB will close the directional unit. Now the directional relays connections. There are mainly two connections, 30-degree connections and 90-degree connections. How we can connect differently and what are the applications of different connections we can see. Whenever a near or close-up faults occurs, the voltage becomes low and the directional relay may not develop a sufficient torque for its operation. So for that problem, we have to generate the sufficient torque during all the directional faults where the current will get reversed. Irrespective of locations with respective to relays, the relay connections to be modified. Each relay is energized by the current from its respective phase and voltage. So one of the methods are that we can connect the differently like 30 connections or 90 connections. We can generate the different types of torque to operate the directional relays. So in 30 connection, you can see in that figure that VAB, VAC, VBC are the line voltages, and IA, IB and IC are the line currents. In these 30 connections, the current coil of the current of the relay of phase A is energized by the phasor current IA and line voltage VAC. Similarly, the relay in phase B by current IB and VBA, and in phase C by IC and VCB. The relay will develop maximum torque when its current and voltage are in phase. So 30 connection phasor diagram where we can develop maximum torque at a 30. In the 90 angle connection, relay in phase A is energized by IA and VBC, relay in phase B by IB and VCA, and the relay in phase C by IC and VAB. By the angle 90, it is designated to develop maximum torque when relay current leads to voltage by 45. So in 90 connection phasor diagram, we will achieve the maximum torque with the 45 degree of leading currents by the voltage. These are the directional relays connections. But first question we would like to ask that what are the drawback of overcurrent relay which leads to introduce a directional overcurrent relay. So the reach and operating time, these both terms are necessary to understand the drawback of overcurrent relay. So it is depend upon the magnitude of fault current. The fault current that would result in case of fault at a particular locations depends upon the types of faults, like maybe it is a ground fault or phase fault or the source impedance. You can see here that different types of fault, LG, LLG, LLG, are the different types of faults where the overcurrent relay is depends, and these types of fault have different type of magnitude. And second one is source impedance, where the reach of that relay will increase or decrease depends on the source impedance. So the reach of the relay keeps changing upon the source of conditions and the type of faults. If the type of fault is LG, then the ZS will increase, means the source impedance will increase. But in three-phase fault, the source impedance is decreased. So we have to connect the different overcurrent relays for the particular fault, where some fault has a large source impedance, some of faults has a small source of impedance, and particularly the overcurrent relays reach are varied. So in EHV line, if the all interconnection systems are working normally, and when the fault occurs, likewise LG, double LG and LLG, and if our overcurrent relay will not select the proper fault due to problems of reach, then the system can lead to a dangerous condition, because as we see that first is the most important is reach. If the fault is not in the reach of that overcurrent relay, or it will not sense as a proper fault, then interconnected power system may lead to a very danger or extremely danger conditions where multiple machines are connected. So this is the drawback of overcurrent relay. And so for that, the different type of ZS, we have to develop a distance protection. So distance protection concept is introduced to overcome these drawbacks of overcurrent relay. So it will learn in next. For at current lectures we will stop here. If you have any doubt, you can call or email me on this number or email ID. Thank you.